Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with the Ship With Me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend. It looks like sales are starting to pick up, at least for me. I hope they are for you as well. Also, happy Halloween. It is my favorite holiday today. Obviously, I'm filming this on Monday, but this will be coming out on Halloween, so I hope you are all having a beautiful time, enjoying some fall weather, and getting lots of great candy. But before we get started here, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you are interested in, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, I'm running pretty late today, later than usual. It's 2:30, almost 3, so I've got to get these things packed up and out the door to the post office ASAP. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipment. So the first piece we have here is this gorgeous shimmery gold dress. I don't know if the camera is picking up like the shimmer on this. This is like a Lorex bodycon dress, one shoulder. This is from BCBG. And to be totally honest, this isn't a brand I pick up a lot of. I do see it quite a bit at the bins, but my experience has been that it doesn't resell quite as well as other brands like in its price range. The reason I picked this up is number one, because it is a cute little party dress, but number two, because it is new with tags. Anyway, it's super cute. I figured that this would go probably holiday season, maybe like in the New Year's range because it is this kind of shimmery color. So kind of not surprised that it's moving right around this time as we are like as of tomorrow officially in the holiday season. And this is like a perfect dress. Like it's memorable enough because it is this pretty gold shimmery color, but it's also like comfy, it's stretchy. It's something that I hope that the buyer gets a lot of use out of. This would work great for like a wedding, a party, holiday party, office party, whatever. It's like long enough to be appropriate for an office holiday party, but still like fun and sexy enough for like a night out on New Year's Eve. I will say BCBG does have some great designs and the quality of their stuff is usually like excellent. So if you're shopping for yourself, it's definitely a brand to keep your eyes out for because they're pretty pricey. I want to say that the original price on this was like $198, maybe close to $200. So they're pretty up there in terms of their retail pricing. But either way, I had this listed for just about 2 months. I had it listed for $48 and it popped through as a full price sale. So never mad at something like that. I do feel like I have more full price sales in cocktail dresses than I do in like my everyday wear. I'm not quite sure why that is. I guess it's because it's like the occasional shoppers popping in for something. So always excited when I get a full price sale. So $48 popped through as a full price sale after 2 months with the $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $37.40. So cute. Next up here, now this is a pair of jeans that I've had for a while. They're kind of skinny jeans, not quite skinny jeans, but these are from Citizens of Humanity, which is a great denim brand. If you can find some of their newer pieces, for sure pick them up, something with like a more modern cut. They're this kind of like chewed edge that they were big with a few years back. Citizens of Humanity, just to put this into perspective, they retail, I want to say like $250, close to $300. They're very expensive jeans. And I do love the quality on them. Like I like Citizens of Humanity jeans. I mean, I'm still a Madewell jean girl, but that's more of a fit thing for me than anything. I wish they used denim more like Citizens. But I did have these for quite a while, and I think it's because it's that older cut. They've had a lot of interest over, you know, the time that I've had them, but no nibbles. I want to say I've had these for about a year, so a pretty long time. So, I mean, if that's anything, like I would probably advise you to not pick up anything skinny jean, really at this point from any brand. Maybe Mother I would pick up skinny jeans from, but if you don't have like the storage space that would allow you to sit on jeans like this, they will sell eventually, of course, but they might just take a little bit too long to justify having them in your closet. So anyway, I had these for about a year and I have them listed at $45. And to be clear, like if you find something with a newer cut from Citizens, you would probably be expecting more like $60 to $80, maybe a little bit more on them. So just for your own pricing, but I have them listed for $45 for just about a year, I think just over a year. I got an offer for $35, which I was glad to accept. I was ready to move these on, and with a $1 cost of the bins, these brought me to a profit of $27 even. I'm happy to be moving these on. Again, you know, Citizens of Humanity is such an egregiously expensive denim brand, and I'm always happy to be getting those onto a new home. Next up is this adorable dress from Zara. Now, I don't pick up every Zara dress that I see. I don't pick up every Zara piece that I see. Had that on a plastic hanger, so it would be a little bit easier getting it off the hanger. So something like this, I mean, this is not showing like much, obviously blending in also to my shirt. This is a little mini dress, and it's ruched down the front with a little bit of elastic, and down the side also with a little bit of elastic. So it'll be something that is bodycon, but still kind of like forgiving and flattering because it's gonna have that ruching all the way up the front of your body. This is like a perfect kind of party dress from Zara, and exactly the kind of thing that I would pick up. Again, something I figured would sell maybe around like New Year's, because this is definitively like a party dress. Not the easiest thing in the world to fold. But it's got a little bit of a mock neck, so it's one of those things that's, you know, covering your arms, covering your neck, but it's showing a lot of legs, so it's well balanced. I'm interested to hear, so like I'm very selective with what I pull in from Zara. For the most part, what I'm pulling in are dresses. They must be the new tag unless it's something really like extraordinary. Do you pick up Zara? Like what are your kind of criteria for pieces that you pick up from Zara? I'm interested to hear kind of what other people do. For me, again, it's usually dress, special sweaters, something like extraordinarily styled, new tags only. I probably see 100 Zara pieces in the bins for every one that I do pick up. So interested to hear what everybody else's kind of criteria is. So anyway, I had this listed for about 9 months. It is a party dress, so generally one of those things that's gonna sell a little bit slower. And I got an offer for $23, which I gladly accepted. After 9 months, I was ready to move this on with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $17.40. I hope she loves it. That's such a cute, and it's like a perfect little black dress for somebody who is like going out to clubs and parties and stuff like that. Next up, now this was an interesting thing. This is something that my mom found. This is from Halston, and it's this gorgeous cream romper. The issue is it had a belt, and when we found it, it didn't have the belt. So we could not sell this, you know, really for anywhere close to what we would have sold it for if we had the whole thing. But isn't this beautiful? Like, it's just this gorgeous drapey cream fabric. It just feels really, really luxe. Little pockets in the side. And it's one of those things that we found, I wanna say we found this when my mom came out in early summer. And, you know, I was hoping it would sell in the summer because it's obviously a sleeveless romper. So it's one of those things that once we kind of pass that point, once we kind of pass into the fall, this is not the kind of thing that I anticipate selling until the next spring. Of course, this is coming from somebody who does sell swim like all year long, so I should never be surprised when these things sell at these kind of times. But it is always a thrill when you find like the Halston tag. This wasn't Halston Heritage or anything like that. This was Halston, just regular label Halston, which means that it was probably good like $400 new. I just couldn't price it all that high because we didn't have that belt, unfortunately. Hopefully she'll use her own little belt and cinch that in and make it look fabulous. So I had this listed for about 3.5 months, and I had it listed at $35. I did drop the price on this once I passed Labor Day, so I think I had it up in like the $40 range. So I had it listed for $35, got an offer for $25. Was ready to move this on. Of course, this is a summer piece. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $19 even. I hope she loves it. Oh, it's going to Miami. That makes sense. Next up, this was a beautiful find. So this is Eileen Fisher, and this is 100% silk. Obviously, you can see the float on this. 100% silk, like poncho top. Look at the back of the arms here. So the arm sits in here like this. So that little slit that you can see literally rests on the back of the arm. I mean, Eileen Fisher does minimalism better than pretty much anybody. That's such a thoughtful and interesting little detail that I can't imagine another designer putting in there. Anyway, it's this beautiful like brown watercolor print, light as a feather, perfect condition. Like, this does not appear to have been worn. I mean, I would be surprised if it was worn more than once. And I also wouldn't be surprised if it was never worn at all. Either way, it is lovely. I will always pick up any silk. I'll pick up most Eileen Fisher pieces that I find. I mean, if you are unfamiliar with Eileen Fisher, and I know if you've been watching me for a long time, you know how much I love her pieces. They are so expensive. So something like this, 100% silk poncho. This probably ran $350. Like, her prices are no joke expensive, but the quality is there, the textiles are there, and the design itself is very like minimalist modern. So it's not something that like operates in trends. The woman who wears something like this has a very like elegant and kind of elevated style that is, I mean, to be totally honest, above and beyond trends. You know, the person who has an Eileen Fisher wardrobe picks up 1 or 2 pieces a year and like wears them forever. So I had this listed at $58 for about 2 months, and I got an offer for $49, which I gladly accepted. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $38.20. Just literally color me excited anytime I find Eileen Fisher silk. Next up was this adorable jacket from Cobby, this beautiful mustard yellow. This is like a fine whale corduroy chore jacket style jacket. This is unlined. It is a size small, and I'm interested to hear. So from what I understand, Cobby is like a direct sales company. So you don't go to stores, you have like a rep that will show you what they have. I will say the quality is really nice. Every Cobby piece that I've picked up, and I certainly don't pick up every piece that I find, but the quality on them is really nice. Somebody commented once though that they have a Cobby store in their mall. Let me know, do you have a Cobby store? C-A-B-I, do you have a store in your mall? I am interested. Or is this a brand that you enjoy buying from? Either way, I find a jacket like this and I'm gonna pick it up. So the thing about this jacket that I think is kind of interesting to keep in mind is that this is what they call a chore jacket. Like the style of this with the 2 pockets on the front, 2 big pockets on the front, is what is called a chore jacket. And right now, that style is highly sought after. It's always been kind of a big thing in Japanese workwear. You know, like if you were to go and look at like what Japanese workwear is, it looks very different from what workwear is here. It's not, you know, Carhartt and Dickies and stuff like that. It's a very stylized Japanese looking aesthetic. I'll see if I can find a picture of like a traditional workwear outfit and put it right here. But chore jackets are part of that aesthetic. And it's kind of interesting though, because the Japanese are really obsessed with American workwear. So like if you have a pair of true vintage Levi's jeans, I mean, dollars to donuts when you sell it, it's gonna be going to Japan. It's really interesting how they have that kind of fixation on American workwear while they have such incredible workwear, you know, within their own culture. But I guess grass being greener and all that. But make sure that if you have a jacket like this with those pockets, again, the big tell is like 2 big square patch pockets down at the bottom, like something you could really put something kind of big in, or your hands. You want to use that term, chore jacket. So this one I had listed for just 3 weeks. I'm not surprised between this color and the corduroy and the cut of this. I knew it was going to go pretty quickly. Being a size small, I thought it might hold it back a little bit, but I just think it would have sold within 1 week if it was a medium or a large versus 3 weeks. Anyway, so I had it listed for $44 for 3 weeks and it popped through as a full price sale. Always happy to see that. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $37.77. So cute. I wish I could wear that color yellow. I really wish I could wear it. Next up here is this gorgeous dress from Dolan. So Dolan is an Anthropologie brand. This is double gauze in this pretty like dark green. The sleeves tie so they can be adjustable, scoop neck, scoop back. Dolan's one of those brands that I personally really like. Like a lot of the pieces that I have bought myself from Anthropologie happen to be Dolan, but I feel like I never see it while I'm out thrifting. So let me know, do you have the same experience? Like what of all the Anthropologie brands that are out there, and I know that there are a ton, but of all the brands that are mostly exclusively sold in Anthropologie, which one do you see the most of while you are out thrifting or in the bins? Either way, this one was absolutely adorable. I just love that fabrics like double gauze and linen have been having such a moment over the last couple of years. Like, I'm somebody who came up in the Y2K era where we wore a lot of like pleather. We wore a whole lot of polyester, that stretchy polyester with the glitter when we would go out to the clubs. Like, I love that these natural fibers are the thing right now. I mean, not only do they last a lot longer, but they're a heck of a lot more comfortable to wear. Anyway, I had this guy listed for just about 1 month at $32. And I got an offer for $26, which I gladly accepted. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $21.16. This was such a cute one, and when I found it in the bins, it was wadded up in such a like ball. I think people passed by it because they just didn't know what it was. It looked like just a wad of fabric, because it is a lot of fabric. Next up here, this was a cool find. Okay, so this is what's called a blanket skirt, and this is made by Eddie Bauer. I want to say that they were made in like the early 90s. The thing is, this is a size 14 tall. So I had a lot of interest on this. Not a ton of bites, but it is one of those unusual sizes that are, you know, I'm sure if you were a size 14 tall, pretty difficult to come by while you're out shopping. And I'm not just talking thrifting or secondhand. I'm talking shopping, period. A size 14 tall is not, you know, not every business makes it. But so when I see something like this, I will grab it. The other thing about this is this just gives me like Dynasty at the horse races, right? Like I could see Crystal Carrington wearing this to like the Breeders' Cup. You know what I'm saying? It just has that vibe of classic, old money. It's wool, it's got the fringes. It's literally called a blanket skirt because it's made to look like a blanket is wrapped around your waist. This gives me holiday, all of those things. And the resale prices on these were all over the place. I saw them selling anywhere between like $15 and $150. So I had no idea where to price this thing at first. And I'm assuming like the $150 ones were more of like a designer label versus like Eddie Bauer. Though I do love Eddie Bauer, their stuff is always such great quality. So I had this listed at $34. And again, I had so many questions about it. So many people asking about like waist measurements and length measurements. I'm sure, you know, when you were a tall queen and you were shopping for tall size stuff, you really have to pay attention to lengths. So I had this listed at $34 for just about 2 months, and I got an offer for $25, and I gladly accepted that. With a $1 cost at the bins, this brought my profit to $20.46. Oh, I hope she loves it. And this is like a nice bulky thing to get out of my closet. That always like, anybody else, like when you sell that big chunky sweater and it frees up that space in your sweater storage bin, like, ugh, the best. Next up here, we've got another vintage piece. Now this is Y2K, and this is one of those things that I literally could not leave this behind. So these are 7 for All Mankind, and like back when I was in college, this stitching on the back pocket was like it. This was the pinnacle of denim, getting a 7 for All Mankind jeans. And the thing about this is this was a collab with the Great China Wall. So there is studding here. There's matching studding on the front pocket. Are you getting any of that sparkle? Like it's really sparkly in the room here because I have the light on it, but I don't know if that's getting picked up by the camera. So sparkles here, sparkles on the other pockets. There's some like interesting stitching here. So of course I grabbed them. Remember they had this stitching and then they had like the A stitching on the back pocket. And I can't remember what the difference was, but this was like elite. So again, there are a couple of this specific collab out in the ether, and sold comps were kind of all over the place again. I saw sold comps for $20 and then I saw sold comps for $100. They were a fairly small size, so I had them for about a year, and I dropped the price on them once, I believe. I think I had them priced initially in the $60 range, and I dropped it to $48. And I did start to get a lot more interest in these. Now these were hemmed. If anybody remembers 7 for All Mankind jeans back in the day, like they were long. I'm 5'5", just for reference, but I have exceptionally like long legs. I'm all leg and no torso. So typically I would be able to fit in standard size jeans, and then like tall jeans would be like just a little bit long for me. And I remember putting on a pair of these and like the leg went out past my foot and then like another foot. They were very, very long, which had to be great for the tall queens out there because, like, again, you didn't have to buy specialty jeans, you didn't have to buy a long length. And I'm sure that the tailors of the world really loved it because, like, there was no way you could wear these without getting them shortened. But these were shortened to basically, like, on the longer side of a standard length. So anyway, I had these listed for about a year, and I had them listed at $48, and I got an offer for $38, which I gladly accepted. Again, I was happy to be moving these on. They are really cool. And with a $1 cost of the bins, that brought my profit to $32.95. I always, like, I love finding these kind of random vintage special collaborations. Like there's just, you know, it's just a finite supply, and it always just makes me happy to be able to like get them on to their next home. Next up here, we've got a 2-piece bundle, and the first piece here is this black t-shirt from Built Basics. And now I had never picked up Built before, and this felt really nice. Like the cotton on this feels really nice, and it's a Henley, and it's got kind of a, it's got like a tailored cut. So if you're a slender guy or somebody who's like built, you know, like bigger on the chest than they are on the waist, something like this would probably fit you pretty well. I know a lot of people seem to really love Built Basics. It doesn't look like they resell for all that much, but I had to give it a try. Like the quality was nice, and I had never had it before, and I had heard quite a bit about it. The other piece with the most gorgeous linen cotton blend sweater from Poetry. Poetry is one of those brands that I love to find, and I do not see it all that often. Their whole thing is like really high quality textiles, very neutral colors, very classic shapes, a little bit oversized, a little bit like leaning into like the log and look style. The important thing to denote is that there is another Poetry brand out there, but it's more of a boutique brand. I feel like you'll be able to tell the difference. There's not a thing that this Poetry sells that isn't like linen, 100% cotton, like as a baseline, silk, wool. If you're finding something that has like rayon in it, chances are this is not the same Poetry, but let me show you this label. And it's a shame because I literally had a piece of the other Poetry in my basket at the bins, and I forgot to take a picture of the label for you. But that is what the label looks like that you're looking for. It's tacked on the sides, it's stitched, it's, again, you will feel the difference. But I do love finding it. Their sweaters retail anywhere between like $200 and $400 depending on the fabric content, so it's definitely a bolo. Let me know if you've ever found a Poetry piece, or if you have Poetry sweaters that you love. I'm interested to hear how many other people have this on their radar. I don't think it's a particularly big brand, but they do sell for a good amount, and they do resell for quite a bit. I've had one of their all linen sweaters. I think it sold for like $80. So it's definitely one of my favorite brands to find. And again, like Eileen Fisher, one of those brands that is like very timeless in their styling. So it's not really something that you're ever gonna have to worry about finding something and have it be like dated. The dated does not exist. So this bundle together, when they were regular price, they would have been $76. With my 15% bundle price, it would have been $64, and she offered me $50, which I gladly accepted. She's purchased from me before, so with a $2 total cost, this brings me to a profit of $38. That Poetry sweater, I think I only had it listed for like 2 or 3 days before it sold. The Built Basics I've had for, I wanna say 2 or 3 months, but like I said, these Poetry pieces, the people who know them really like them and love to find a deal on them, so definitely grab them if you see them. Next up, this was a fun little vintage piece. So this is from JCPenney's. And for me, like my mom worked at JCPenney back in the day, and I'm pretty sure I remember my dad wearing these shirts. This is the Fox shirt from JCPenney. And this is pretty much dead stock. Like there is a tag here. There's like a little string here that I'm pretty sure was the price tag. The thing that I love most of all about this, that I think really dates it to that like late 70s, early 80s time frame, is this kind of exaggerated collar on a polo shirt. It's piqué, so it's, you know, a very classic polo textile. It's very classic polo silhouette otherwise, but then there's that collar that's just so fabulous. And these are the kind of things, this was everyday wear back in the day, right? So like, I don't think that there's a lot of these shirts that have survived. And I'm pretty sure that they were, I feel like JCPenney's, I mean, obviously it's much less popular now, but I think back in the day, JCPenney's was quite a bit bigger. This might be me, just my point of view, because we shopped at JCPenney's a ton, but let me know, like, do you remember this shirt? It's definitely like a nod to the Izod and Lacoste, but that is their little Fox. But I do remember my dad wearing these. So let me know if you do as well. I do love finding vintage menswear in good shape. I just, you know, like women, in general, we have more clothes. We wear our clothes less frequently. We're typically a little less hard on our clothing. I mean, obviously we all have our sweatshirts that are beat to like nothing, but in terms of like the stuff that we wear on the daily, you know, I think we change it up a lot more than men have. And I think that that is true throughout history. So I feel like I just don't find a ton of vintage menswear in good shape. You know, like I have yet to find a vintage Lacoste like made in France. I think that those are exceptionally rare because I think they just got worn again and again and again, and you know, are in rough shape, or maybe didn't go out of somebody's wardrobe until it became a rag in the bathroom, right? So this guy I had listed for $26 for just 2 weeks. And you know, JCPenney's wasn't an altogether expensive. This isn't like a luxury vintage item. This is very much like an everyday, every person vintage item. So I got an offer for $20 after that 2 weeks, which I gladly accepted. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $16.27. I hope he loves it. I mean, for me, this was just a little slice of nostalgia that I was not expecting in the bins. Next up, now this is an interesting one, and one, to be totally frank, that I'm kind of surprised that I got at my bins because we have so many bins bros there. So this was literally just like laying on top of a stack. This was on top of like the throwback stack. So I recognized, so this motif right here, you can kind of see him right there. This is from an artist named Kaws, K-A-W-S. And this, I believe, is what he calls his companions. You might also be familiar with his bear brick. They're done in like vinyl figurines. So first and foremost, anytime you see something with a Kaws motif on it, you want to pay attention because he's very big in like the hype beast streetwear world. The other thing that stopped me dead in my tracks that I cannot believe people didn't catch was that. That says Cactus Jack, and that is Travis Scott's line of clothing. So this is a collab piece between Kaws and Cactus Jack. And again, somebody had this in their hands and put it back. Certain collaborations can go very, very, very high. I don't know if this was limited. This is long sleeve, which I think is a little bit less desirable in that world. But for example, like Cactus Jack, the Travis Scott brand, he did a collab, I wanna say it was with McDonald's? You had, like, obviously this is something that you want to look into. I will say if you are outsourcing and it's inexpensive and you see that label, like, buy it, ask questions later. But if this is something you really want to get into, do a little research into like which specific collabs are the ones that people are really looking for. I think that the one that I'm thinking of is the Cactus Jack one, and like the logo is written in ketchup. Pretty sure it's McDonald's. And I want to say that that's going for like $300 or $400 right now. I mean, some of these things go crazy. For this one, there were sold comps anywhere between like 20 and 60. If you looked on Grail, there were a couple people that were like asking 100, but as you can ask whatever you want. It's going to be a matter of what somebody's willing to pay. And to be totally honest, some of the prices that I see on Grail are ridiculous. But especially if you are in a bins location, somewhere where you're paying $1 or $2, if you see anything with the Kaws motif, or if you see anything with Cactus Jack, you're gonna pick that up. Again, you're gonna pick that up and you're gonna ask questions later. So I had this listed for 60 bucks, which was kind of like right there, you know, around where I was seeing sold comps, maybe a little on the higher end there. And I got an offer for $45 after about 3 months. Anyway, so I got an offer for $45 after 3 months, which I gladly accepted with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $35 even. So I hope he loves it, and I kind of feel bad for the person who left that on top of the throwback pile, because that was a good sale. And finally, this big old thing. So this I grabbed because that fleece felt really nice, and the tag was removed, but then I looked on the back and I saw the Free People Movement embroidered logo right there. So of course I grabbed it. I didn't get this all that long ago, and it was like right, you know, kind of at the beginning of school. This is exactly the kind of thing that people will be buying these like right about now. So this is just an oversized fleece, full zip jacket. It's quite cozy. It's quite warm for the like thickness of it. Of course, it's that polar fleece. It's got a really interesting silhouette to it, as most Free People Movement pieces do have. And sold comps on this were, again, somewhere between like 35 and 65, depending on the color and the size. So yeah, this is the kind of thing I never find in the bins. I'll find this, there's a couple thrift stores that I go to around here that I can find stuff like this, you know, on the cheaper side. You know, maybe I'll pay $15 or $20, but rarely do I find this in the bins. I'm gonna have to like carefully pack this thing up. Perfect fit. So I had this listed for $60 for about a month and a half, and I got an offer for $45, and I sold this on Depop And I've had probably 25 offers for this on Depop, and none of them have popped through, and then finally this one did. So with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $41.58. I'm happy to get this back into circulation and back to keeping somebody warm. But that is it. That is the shipment for today. Guys, thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. I am, again, running super late, so I've got to get these things. I mean, we're literally losing sunlight now. We are at that point of the year, so I've got to get these things packed up and over to the post office. Toot sweet. So guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey, but without further ado, have the most beautiful weekend, have the most fabulous Halloween night. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.